Lewis Hamilton rolled out of the pit lane at Spa with everything to prove and absolutely nothing to lose. Dead last on the grid, in a Ferrari, after what might go down as one of the most humiliating qualifying sessions of his career. Now, imagine being a 7-time world champion and being told to make magic happen with a car that had been working against you all weekend. That's exactly what Hamilton was dealing with, and the story only gets crazier from there. It all started when Ferrari fitted an untested suspension component to Hamilton's car, a move that's left many scratching their heads. This wasn't just a small tweak. It was a revised floor suspension interaction system, something that hadn't gone through the usual testing protocols. And Hamilton felt it instantly. During free practice, he was already on the radio, furious. No grip, snap oversteer, no predictability under throttle. Every corner was a gamble. But here's the kicker. Ferrari had been running this same component on Leclerc's car since Canada. Leclerc had weeks to get used to it. Hamilton, 1 weekend. How does that happen to a guy you signed to lead your team back to championship glory? It's no wonder Hamilton didn't make it out of Q1. That wasn't a driver issue. That was a team failure, straight up. And that spin at the bus stop. Turns out it wasn't even his fault. XF1 driver Anthony Davidson confirmed it sounded like a gearbox lockup. So the question is, how did Ferrari get it this wrong? Let me ask you, do you think Ferrari is really listening to Hamilton? Drop your thoughts below. And hey, if you love deep dive stories like this, hit subscribe. We're on the road to 1000, overnight at Spa. While most fans were still talking about rain delays and Verstappen's frustration with the FIA, something wild was happening behind closed doors at Ferrari. After that brutal Saturday, the team did something they rarely do. They admitted something was seriously wrong. And they got to work. According to sources in the paddock, Ferrari performed what insiders are calling their most aggressive overnight rebuild of the season. And the reason? Hamilton wasn't just asking for changes. He was demanding them. That sketchy, untested suspension component. Gone, ride height, completely reconfigured, rear damping, softened to deliver the kind of feedback and control Hamilton had been begging for. The aero map was even rebalanced to provide corner entry stability, but the biggest change wasn't mechanical, it was cultural. Ferrari finally started listening to the driver they'd been ignoring for weeks. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Those changes didn't just happen because of a debrief session or a few notes. Hamilton stayed late into the night with Ferrari's engineers, essentially giving them a masterclass on how to set up the car. This wasn't a driver whining about grip levels. This was a world champion dissecting the car's problems in real time and laying out the fix. And guess what? Ferrari followed it. That shift in dynamic. Huge, because for the first time, Hamilton's voice wasn't just heard, it carried weight. And the next day, the results spoke volumes. So, what do you think? Was Hamilton right to push that hard for changes? Yes or no? Vote in the comments. And make sure you've got notifications turned on. Because what happened in the race is the stuff of legends. By the time the lights went out at Spa, Hamilton wasn't just driving, he was unleashing something from the back of the grid in a car that had only just been put together properly. He delivered one of the most clinical, composed comeback drives we've seen in recent F1 memory. This wasn't desperation, this was precision. This was Hamilton in full control, showing why experience still matters in a sport driven by milliseconds and margin. Through Eau Rouge and up the Camel Straight, Hamilton wasn't just overtaking, he was dissecting the midfield, move after move, inside lines, late, braking, perfect traction on exit. It was like watching someone who had already run the race in their head the night before. In fact, it probably was that. The predictability he'd fought so hard for finally paid off. The car wasn't fighting him anymore, and when that happens, good luck stopping him. By lap 20, Hamilton was already into the points, while others around him were folding under pressure. Carlos Sainz picked up a penalty. Lance Stroll was defending like he was playing bumper cars. Yuki Tsunoda was getting tangled up in every battle. Meanwhile, Hamilton was putting on a two-wheel masterclass, clean, smart, and relentless. And the most telling sign, the Ferrari radio went silent. No micromanagement, no second guessing, just quiet respect as Hamilton did what no strategy call could. Eventually, when he reached 7th, you could feel the mood in the Ferrari garage shift. They started feeding him updates, offering support, believing again. So now I've got to ask you, where does this drive rank among Hamilton's all-time greatest? Let me know in the comments. Hit that like button if that comeback gave you chills. And don't forget, subscribe to Fast News F1 so you never miss a moment like this.